Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I wanted to do a video on how to find the domain and range of any function or any relation. And I call this basically, you're just boxing up the function and using the box to determine what the domain and range are. So let me jump into this. All right, so this is the handout that I created. And I have two images here. One is of the Pink Panther, one is of the Sonic character. And basically, I've already got these in boxes, right? And this is the key idea. Because these two drawings are continuous, and what I mean by continuous is basically I can trace from one side of the graph all the way over to the other side of the graph without lifting my pencil. So I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to do this in red, and I'm going to trace on the Pink Panther. So if I were, let me make this larger. If I were taking this, I could start here and I can trace around the whiskers, the whiskers go all the way around. I'm getting a little sloppy, but I'm tracing all the way around and I'm not lifting my pencil off the page. I don't have to lift my pencil at all to trace around the edge of this graph. Here's his eyebrow, go here, go all the way over, all the way over, all the way over, all the way over, boom, 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 all the way over, boom, boom, boom. And I get back to where I started, right here. And I didn't have to lift my pencil once. Now, that's not the best tracing, but the idea is if I can trace out the graph or the relation without lifting my pencil, it's continuous. And the reason that's important is once you know that the graph is continuous, you can just put it inside a box, all right? And I put this inside a box. The key is you're going to put it in a rectangular box. It's got to be the smallest box that you can put it in without cutting off any of the graph. So in this case, I put the Pink Panther in this blue box. So now, once I've got it in the box, if I want to know what the domain is, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that box and I'm going to read the X values. And let me show you what I mean. So in this case, if I go, the first X value that I'm going to have, that's a negative 13. So that means that my domain is going to start at a negative 13, and it's going to go all the way over to the left side or the right side, which is a positive 13. So the domain for this is going to be a negative 13 over to a positive 13. And because I'm touching those input lines, because the graph is actually touching those input lines, we would put brackets around it. All right, so that's how you would figure out the domain. The range is the same thing, except we're looking for Y values. So you would come down to the very bottom here, and you can see that that is a negative 12. And so that would be our start at negative 12. And we go all the way to the top, which is 10, maybe 10 and a half, but I'll say 10.5. So, and we're going to put those in brackets. So that's how you would do the domain and range for this. By the way, this is not a function because it fails the vertical line test, but I can still find the domain and range easily by putting it inside a box. Now, I did the same thing with the Sonic character, and you can see I've already circled. So if I wanted to do the domain, I would go here. And what number is that? That's a negative 11. So the domain starts at a negative 11 and it goes all the way over to, that looks like 7. So to a positive 7. And I'm going to put those in brackets because I'm touching those input lines. And then if I wanted to do the range, let me just change the color on this. I would go down to the bottom and I would say, what is that? That is a negative 15. And we go all the way up to a positive 12. Put them in brackets, boom, that's done. Now, I'm going to actually do some questions from the handout. I'm going to do this one. All right, so this is the warm-up. So is this a continuous function? Well, I can start here and I can definitely trace all the way over without lifting my pencil. So it definitely is a continuous function. So you would say yes. Now, is it a function? Yes. How do you know? Because it passes the vertical line test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm doing that multiple times and I don't hit the graph more than once, so it is a function. So let me get rid of those. And I would say it is a function. Now, because it's continuous, I can put it inside a box. So let's do that. I'm going to change this and make it medium. So I'm going to start here. Here's the bottom of the box. And then I'm going to go from here. This is the side of the box. This right here is the top of the box. And then here is the other side of the rectangular box. So now I've got that function completely enclosed in the smallest rectangle that I can make, okay? And now all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna read the X values for the domain and the Y values for the range. So in this case, the domain, I'm gonna make this a little bigger. Domain starts at a -7 and it goes to a +7. Now, should I put parentheses or brackets? Well, you can see that this is a closed circle and it's touching the -7 input line. And this one is a closed circle and it's touching the input line 7. So we would put brackets around both of these. Okay, domain's done. That's how easy it is to find the domain. Now for the range, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to go to the y-axis and read those numbers. So the first number is a -6. And the second number is 4. Now, same reasoning. You can see that this part is touching the output line of -6. And this part is touching the output line 4. So we would put brackets around both of them. If the graph touches those input lines or those output lines, then we're going to bracket them. If they don't, then we're going to put parentheses. All right, so boom, we're done with that. Now, I'm going to do this one. Now, this one is a little bit more confusing because it's not continuous. So I can't go here. Well, let me make this red. I can't go from here all the way over here without lifting the pencil. Because now, if I do it this way, this is not the same thing. I've added these pieces, and that's not what you're supposed to do. So if I wanted to trace, I would have to go here, and then I would have to pick up my pencil, and then I would have to jump up here and then start over here. And then I'd get here, and then I'd have to pick up my pencil again, and I would go here. So that is not continuous. That's what you should see here. So you would say this is not continuous. Is this a function? Yes, it is a function. How do I know? Because it passes the vertical line test. Now, I'm going to look at the places where some students might get confused. I'm going to draw a vertical line here. Now, that vertical line only hits the graph in one place. The one place is here. This is an open circle, so I'm not hitting the graph there. So that passes the vertical line at a -2. Now, if I draw one at a +4, it's the same thing. It hits the graph here, but it doesn't hit here. So it is a function. So this is a function. So let me get rid of those lines. You would say, yes, this is a function. It passes the vertical line test. Now we're going to try to find the domain. Now, this is not continuous. So I just can't do this, draw a box around it and say, oh, that's it. It's not continuous. But if you look, there are some small continuous pieces that I can box up. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to box it up. Take this. So I'm going to put that first piece of the graph into a box. And then I'm going to change the color. And then I'm going to put the second piece. Let me do it this way. I'm going to put the second piece inside of a box as well. Boom. And then I'm going to draw this over. It needs to be horizontal. I'm going to draw it over. Hey, come on. And then I'm going to draw up the rest of the side. Now you can see that, well, that's not the best line. Let me try this again. Now you can see that these two have kind of that they have a common side, right? So that's the key idea here. So I made that box. Now I got to do one more box. I'm gonna make this one green. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. Here's the bottom of the box. Here's the top of the box. Here is the side of the box. And here is the top of the box. All right, so now what I can do is if I want to find the domain, I can still go, oh, it goes from a -6 to a -2, right? I'm just going to go a -6 to a -2. Then it goes from a -2 to a +4. This is 4 here. So it goes from a -2 to a +4. And then it goes from 4 to 8. Now, here's the thing. These boxes are touching each other. So instead of splitting them up and going, oh, these, right? I can say, well, we can actually start here. And even though it's not continuous, these boxes are touching each other. So the domain really starts at a -6 and it goes all the way over to 8. This is a closed circle, so this is going to get a bracket. This one is an open circle, so it's going to get parentheses. Now, the key is there is no number between a -6 and 8 that I cannot get to. So any number between a -6 and 8, let's say I wanted to find out what's the output for this one. I would say, well, at a -2, the output would be 1. So every number if I can get to if every input within the -6 to 8 interval, I can get an output, that's a valid X value, and it should be in my domain. So in this case, even though this is not continuous, there is still no gaps between a -6 and 8, which is why I can still use that interval notation. Now I'm going to do the same thing or a very similar thing for the range. So where's the lowest box? It's right here. And that would be 7 or -7. So that's going to be the start of my range. And then what's the highest box on here? Well, these two have the same kind of height. So, and it's going to be 9. So it goes from a -7 up to a +9. The question is, should it be brackets or should it be parentheses? Well, this is a closed circle. So we will put a bracket around the -7, and this is a closed circle, and this is also touching the output line 9. So we will put a bracket around there. So even though this is not continuous, there is no gaps in the number line where I have to say, oh, we have to split this up. Okay, so that's it. That's how you would do this. Now, I'm going to post this, and then I'm going to make another video where I actually go over the handout that I gave and show you how to do some of those. All right, I hope this has been helpful. If it's not, please let me know. Come see me, send me a text, something, just say, Mr. I don't quite get this. Can you explain this a little better? All right. Hopefully this is good enough. All right, bye.